we've touched on sustainability a little bit, and this is a short chapter. And the reason being is that, the book's probably a couple of years old. It's just how textbooks work. But also, this is still a relatively new concept, not just in meetings, in our industry in general. So, it's not going away. It's going to get bigger. And as I talked about before, there can be a tremendous amount of waste in meetings and events on a bunch of different scales. So these things that you look here, these terms, it's a very interesting thing, and I'm just telling you as someone who's done research on sustainability that to call something sustainable to meet some certain bare bones requirements of LEED, LEED certification, it's not necessarily that difficult. But as our clients, consumers, just people in general get more knowledge, it gets more and more difficult to just kind of say, well, we changed out the light bulbs and we're green. Like, there's a lot more ways to call you on your practices. So when you say you're going to have a sustainable meeting, as much as you possibly can, you've got to show everyone involved why. So you see the green meeting guide, and that definition is perfect for sustainability. It's exactly what we're trying to do. Like, sometimes it's very hard to go back and undo the damage that's been done. But from this point forward, we can eliminate or try our best to reduce the impact of what we're doing moving forward. And when you think about these large meetings and the things that are involved in putting them on and the processes and the equipment and the products and all this stuff, you can kind of see where we can eliminate a lot of waste and really make a more sustainable event. Now listen, there are still completely green events, and that could be a wedding, it could be a meeting, it could be a conference, it could be an expo, it could be anything. If you haven't heard about the triple bottom line, this is stuff that I talk about in my sleep, and you guys are going, okay, you mentioned that. I did my dissertation on sustainability and country clubs. So I'm not to say I'm an expert, but just taking a look at the country clubs who, as we all know, have a lot of meeting space that clubs use for, birthday parties and weddings and just anniversaries and business things and all that good stuff. That's something that we look at, the triple bottom line, profit, people, planet. So again, what we used to say about sustainability was, yeah, going green is going to be great, but oh my God, it's so expensive. Listen, if you have a really old catering facility and you decide, you wake up one day and you go, I can't do this anymore. I have to start thinking about the planet for myself, my friends, my family, my children, or whatever the case is going to be. In some cases, yes, it would probably be just as cheap for you to go demolish your facility and start all over again, as opposed to going, what would it take to reclimate the water and do this and do that? And so it's stuff you have to look at. And a lot of times it is high cost up front, long-term gain. So it depends. You hear corporate social responsibility a lot. We're not going to have a client whose mission statement talks about them being a corporate social responsibility organization, and that's one of their main causes, host an event where, we're known for our waste, or we, in this dilapidated old building with, so many, our carbon footprint, blah, 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 blah. So again, you see some examples there where, if our mission statement as an event planning company is, we only want to do green events, for lack of a better word, don't come to us unless you want your event to be sustainable, because we won't do it. I would have said 5-6 years ago, I don't know if you would have stayed in business now, you could stay in business and be quite profitable with just that market segment. We talked about the printing of physical programs. You know, you get a gift bag when you walk into this expo, and I'm just going to be as blunt as I can. The amount of crap that is in it that you don't keep. So, you know, that's just how it goes. So, what we can do to reduce all these things, we're going to do. And like we talked about, raising awareness. Look, if I'm doing an event, you do it through me, and I say, thanks for choosing, you know, greenmeetings.com. And the reason that, you know, you chose us, here's what we can tell you you have done by choosing us as your meeting planners. You have reduced A, B, C, D, and E. And you have helped blah, 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 blah. So again, socially, we never want to get into business or promote our business for the wrong reasons. And when I talked about country clubs, you know, if all of a sudden a country club realized that when they installed 9 new holes and this new beautiful clubhouse, and as a result they created a new ecosystem by accident, it may have been an accident, but don't forget that they're still going to market it. Oh, look, we created a new species of, you know, mosquito, and oh, we've created this whole ecosystem where these certain beetles can thrive. Market it. That's what we do. That's our business. Again, all these standards that we talk about, ISO 20121, again, improve the sustainability of your events as you move forward. So, you know, again, I'm not trying to say that our goal is that we were so wasteful. We were. Not everybody was. But a lot of us were. And of course we don't want to be as wasteful, whether it's, you know, food, transportation, you know, the facility itself. We understand that, okay? More than half of all meeting professionals are considering environmental policies. So, you know, these steps are very, very important. And I think that, you know, unless you follow these, you're not going to have success. When you talk about vendors and supporting your plan, this kind of goes back to what I said about people can look up stuff and call you on your BS, for lack of a better word. So if you say you're green, but you're using a vendor who is known for their waste or how they, you know, get rid of trash or whatever the case may be, you're not, right? So it's an interesting thing. And listen, I don't have to necessarily be the most green meeting planning company in the world for a client to approach me and say, we've heard really good things about your meeting planning organization and your business, but we want to do a completely sustainable conference for 3 days. And we need boom, 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 boom. Maybe the first time that you ever do it, and it's an exciting challenge, but challenge is going to be the key word for you. It's not going to be that easy. So some of the things that we talk about, you know, and I'll tell you, so the third bullet point there about recycle, when I was in college, we did a focus group. And if you've never done a focus group, they're really interesting things to sit around where, in our case, the people being interviewed couldn't see us. And we asked them about recycling. And here's the simple thing about recycling. If the bin is close to me and I can access it, then by nature I want to do the right thing and I'm going to do it. But if the recycling bin is outside the room where there's 7 trash cans and I have to walk 400 feet to get to it, I'm throwing stuff in the trash can. Silly, but true, right? So again, all these things that go into how you do this can mean anything and everything like we talked about. So it is a thing where you've got to look at everything separately. People love eating local. We see this now in our industry where people are infatuated with local products and stuff like that and helping local farmers and keeping farm to table and stuff like that. So that's a good thing that is there. Saving energy when you're not in these rooms, the lights go out, or, you know, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So again, it's very important. Communication is key. The sources that you use, like I talked about, vendors and locations and products. You know, how the wedding cake was made that was brought to your green event. Those are things that need to be looked at. Meet green calendar, great. Greenwashing is what I talked about, is you say you're one thing and you're not, and you say you're doing this and you're not. So like we said, if this isn't a facility that you normally use or it's new for you and you're going in as a planner, you go in and you verify. Verify, trust but verify. So again, because I don't think that people are trying to purposely be misleading, but sometimes we found when it comes to this that they are. So, it's very important that you double check and triple check. Sustainable meeting policies, like we talked about, as I said, it's not going to get smaller, it's going to get bigger. And if you want to deal with larger clients and businesses who maybe, look, you want to deal with, you have a gas company, an oil company that's coming in for a meeting, and they have 10,000 people coming in for 4 days, and it could be a multi-million-dollar contract for your business. Oh, and by the way, we just started this new initiative where everything we do has to tie into sustainability and going green. So that includes our meeting at this location, and we want you to cater it. So again, that kind of goes into it. We don't want to have a guest speaker come in and talk about sustainability at a location or with a food vendor. We see the food vendor throwing away food or throwing past plastic bottles in the trash, right? I mean, that makes sense. So cost versus benefits of sustainability, as I said, it at this point, and it's getting better, you'd be better off starting off from scratch. True cost benefit analysis, great idea. We live close to where I talk about straws and getting rid of straws, and it's more of almost more C than environmental, but how long stuff takes to break down. And when I do sustainability in food, I always talk about to-go boxes and food that is wasted. People say, well, you have this catering, you have all this food that's left, just give it to people who need it. And then you have to start thinking about health issues and food sanitation issues. So in a lot of cases, there's tons of things that we would love to be able to donate to a food bank that we can't, because even though the food is technically free, they can eat it, could make them sick. So you have to be very careful and balance all these things out when you're deciding what you want to do. When it says things that are now voluntary are going to become legal, I think that's probably going to be the case a lot more moving forward, where we're going to start seeing emissions and vehicles that you use and electricity and lighting. I think more and more we're going to start going towards you are required to do this. And it may be like ADA compliance where, if you're in a certain thing, you may be grandfathered in where you don't have to do it because you could prove that as a financial burden on your business. But we're definitely heading in the direction where things are they're going to get stricter, not more lenient or loose, for lack of a better word. So you're able to do that. But yeah, if you want to start doing it, if you want to take baby steps in your corporation or your meeting and planning business, hey, listen, we're trying to do the right thing. We're heading in the right direction. We can't do it overnight because it's too much of a cost for us. But here's what we're going to start doing now. And I can tell you, I have a friend who has a business where they take plastic bottles and make clothing. And you're starting to see this more and more with other products. And their employees all wear a T-shirt that looks like a bottle, and it says this T-shirt used to be a plastic bottle. That's their uniform. So that was one of the first things they did was when people come in to get shirts from us and they look at our uniforms, we say, this is how we make our product. And we think there's a market for it. And I can tell you that 10 years ago, people were like, that's kind of a nice gimmick. They do very, very well for themselves now because the trend has caught up, and you see more and more with not just young people or certain groups of people, but everybody's starting to be more hyper aware of the damage that's been done. And we're trying to revert it or stop it if we can. And so this industry and this group is no exception.